here, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. Just as a reminder for everybody this morning, we're going to be in element 9. And so in your life book, element 9 starts on page 192. And keep it in mind, everybody just making sure as you're coming in, if you can mute yourself. That would help us all to get started really well. Amy, if you can go ahead and take yourself off of mute. And I'm in the room here. We got lots of you in. As you're coming in, if you can just just a friendly reminder to mute yourself, just so that we can get started with this morning's book challenge. Again, we're going to be on element 9. If you missed it, on page 192 is where it starts. And I love this element because for a lot of you, maybe just getting started, or you've been with us for a while, one of the things that people always ask about is the fuelings and why is it important? And so I'll just briefly tell you, what I've come to realize is that nutrition, especially good nutrition, and I'm sure a lot of you thinking about sourcing your own fuelings. One of the things is tough is that getting something nutritious and convenient can be challenging at times. And so I'm grateful for the partnership with Optavia and our Fuelings, so that we have something we don't even have to think about. And you're going to see, if you haven't read already, but you'll see here today why it's important to have something every 3 hours. And Dr. A breaks it down and why he partnered with Optavia to utilize the Fuelings. And that was really one of the things that caught his eye initially when he was looking at partnering with a company almost over 20 years ago. And he talks about it in the here in the Life Book in element 9. He says 17 years ago, but that's because the Life Book's been around for just about 3 years now. The Habits Health System Life Book and the Habits Health Book 2.0. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and I'm going to ask Amy Wood if she would take herself off of mute. Amy Wood, amazing coach. She's got an amazing story and an amazing family, and she's contending for you guys this morning by being here. She's got a busy life and kids, and so she has made some time for us to kind of share her perspective on element 9. So Amy, if you wouldn't mind, come on in and share with us some of your insights on element 9 from your perspective.
Sure. Yeah, I would love to. Hey, everybody, and good morning. Happy Saturday. If you're on the East Coast, it's actually lunchtime right now. So I'll start just by telling you a little bit about myself. I'm a client first. I'm a coach. My husband and I have been married for almost 17 years, and he's also a client and a coach. We have 4 kids together, and we're also raising our niece and nephew. And the ranges, so that's 6 if anyone's doing math. They range from the ages of 20 years old all the way down to 5 years old. Our life is busy but fun. I started my client journey back in December of 2019, and I lost 65 pounds in 5 months, which was incredible. Insert disclaimer here, right? Average weight loss on the 5-1 plan is 12 pounds, and clients are in weight loss average 12 weeks. I know that by heart because I say it a lot. I was really able to gain some mental and emotional stability on this plan. So much more confidence. I'm learning to really take responsibility for my choices, and I'm learning to live more in structure every day to reach my goals. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm not perfect, and I don't have it all figured out, but I started guiding other people very early on in my journey because I knew that I wanted people to feel the way I was feeling, right? And I started with people that were closest to me, my husband, my brother, my cousin, my really close friends. And then it started expanding to many of you on this screen today. And I'm so blessed to know all of you, and I'm contending for you, like Tim said earlier. And today we're really going to dive into using the fuelings to reach a healthy weight faster. And when I read this element, I've read it probably 5 or 6 times over the last couple of years. And I'm not huge on talking about the food because I like to work on other stuff, but this is what we're going to talk about today. So I would love for you to let me know. So before you joined Optavia, how often did you fuel your body? Just put it in the chat. Was it every few hours? Was it 3 square meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Was it twice a day if you were lucky? Maybe 1 big meal at night because you were so busy all day or just didn't feel like eating. I knew that I grew up eating 3 meals a day, and I had to really get out of my comfort zone when I started this plan. Dr. A says in order to overcome logistical barriers to reach a healthy weight, we have to create new habits. And sometimes that's getting out of our own way and stop making excuses that we don't have time to eat 6 times a day. I probably totally butchered that because I don't have the quote in front of me, but I remember reading it. Things like, maybe I travel too much, or I don't have enough time to be in the kitchen, it's that long, or I have way too many kids. There's no time for me. Girl, you're preaching to the choir. Like, I know what that feels like. But what I'm confident in is that this plan makes it so simple to create habits that we need to develop in order to create our desired outcome. It's pretty cool. And I'd like to kind of start, I'm going to go back. I know we're in element 9, but if everybody could go to page 6 with me, please, in your life book. I really want to challenge you to read that page. I want you to sign it and put the date, put today's date. I signed this on July 5th of 2020, and it's powerful. I read it all the time. I go back to it and remind myself of what it says. I'm not going to read it out loud. I'll let you guys read it and kind of go from there. But the other thing I would really like to do before we get into the Fuelings is on page 14. I have mine here. I have lots of tabs and notes, but I want to go over the mason jar analogy really quickly. It's on page 14 again, and I want to share the story in my own words quickly for those of you that may not have heard it. So we have a jar. I really wanted to do this for you live and have all the stuff to put in it, but I don't have all the stuff. So just use your imagination, and we're going to take this jar, okay, and we're going to put rocks in it. We're going to fill it all the way up to the top, okay? Maybe that looks full to you, but then what happens when you add some pebbles in it, right? It kind of fills in some of the gaps. Maybe it looks a little more full now, okay? But what if you added some sand in there next, right? Really filling in all the gaps between the rocks and the pebbles. And then last, we'll take some water and kind of pour that in all the way to the top. Now it's full. There's no space left. That's it. And that's what Dr. A is teaching us with the habits of health. We want you, he wants you, well, we all do, to be able to focus on the most important things in your life. And those rocks are the most important things to you. And that's why they go in first, okay? If we try to do that experiment in reverse, where the water goes in and then some sand and then some pebbles, it doesn't work because it leaves no room for those rocks, right? By the time you get to those, there's no room for them. And that's why we have to do it in order. And the reason I wanted to really share that story first is because we're all learning new things, and knowing our current reality, being clear why we're here, it's very helpful. And I know we're here to talk about why the Fuelings rock, but until we can establish those things that I just mentioned, the food alone is not going to serve us. It won't. Sometimes we don't want to eat the Fuelings, okay? Sometimes it's not easy to just eat a bar or drink a shake, heat up a soup or a brownie. It's simple to do those things, but it's not always easy. So knowing why you're eating them is key. And some of the things I'm going to share today will be helpful. Like, I had to really kind of dig into that this week. You know, the Fuelings are the best way to reach a healthy weight faster than doing it on your own. So I'm going to go to element 9 because I have my notes in my book. We have a huge variety of Fuelings. They're portable, convenient, They can be used long term. It's literally goof proof. It's very cost effective. And I'm really passionate about all the components and the science behind the products that they're offering. So I'm really going to dive a little bit into that. And I'm going to be more focusing on 5-in-1 plan today. I know not a lot of us are on there. So maybe if you're not on 5-in-1, put it in the chat and just bear with me. I'm not an expert. I'm not always great at relaying information that I'm reading and trying to take in myself and sharing it with others, but I'm going to try and I'll do my best here. I think one of the many benefits of the Fuelings is that they can be used interchangeably, right? That means each Fueling has nearly identical nutritional profile. That's awesome. They were designed by a team of food scientists, and they're refined by registered dietitians, okay? People we can trust. They all have the same amount of calories, about, give or take 5 or 10, the same amount of protein and fiber. And it's extremely important that we get all of our Fuelings in, the full portion of the lean and green every day. No matter what plan you're on, follow that protocol, lean into your coach. On the 5-in-1, skipping a Fueling can really cause you to miss out on nutrients, including daily vitamins, minerals. They're all so essential to our health, you guys. And sometimes as a coach, and when I do client check-ins, sometimes I hear people say, well, I skipped a Fueling to save on calories, or I woke up late and I didn't have time to eat all 5. But it can actually have the opposite effect. And I want to make sure that we're consuming all of the nutritional piece of the program, because those are our macronutrients. That's what helps promote fat burn in 5-in-1. So anything you consume under 1,200 calories per day, you really need to fortify that with vitamins and minerals. And Optavia has really taken the guesswork out of that for us by providing all of those things in our Fuelings, the micronutrients, right? Vitamins and minerals. Each Fueling contains high quality protein, you guys. It helps retain lean muscle mass. It has a probiotic in it. It helps support our digestive health, right? That's what probiotics do. They're free from artificial colors, sweeteners, and they really are the heart of reaching a healthy weight. We can do it safely. They taste good. I was actually pretty hesitant in the beginning. I'm like, I don't know about this. But they're good. They don't have a weird aftertaste. They're great. So what's your favorite Fueling? Put that in the chat. I'd love to see that and maybe share with some other people. Everyone has different taste buds, so I know, that's different. But I'll share another quick story. I thought it was very interesting that in a clinical study, the group of people on the 5-in-1 for weight loss lost 10 times more weight than people doing it in the self-directed group. So basically, the use of our Fuelings to reach a healthy weight is 10 times more effective than somebody doing it on their own, eating whole foods. Now, I don't want you to hear me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Whole foods is the long-term goal, right? Fuelings are a tool, and they're getting us there. We still eat 2 to 3 Fuelings a day. My husband and I, we love them. They're healthy, they're convenient in a pinch. We keep them in our car. We talked about a lot of this last week, and some of my clients ask me, do I have to eat 5 Fuelings forever? Well, no, heck no. We're only using this as a tool to establish a habit and to reach a healthy weight safely. Your coach is going to guide you through that nutritional process and the transition process, right? And really teach you how to incorporate more whole foods into your day. Once you're at a healthy weight, it's a lot easier to, I'm going to hesitate here and say maintain, because I know we don't like that word around here, but really move into optimizing our health, because we're building habits over time to be consistent in our lives moving forward. Does anyone want to share or comment on anything before I move on? I feel like I'm talking a lot and I really want to give anybody the opportunity to just come off mute and share. Feel free to do that.
Hi, Amy, it's Dobby.
Hi, Dobby.
Did I talk over someone? Well, I was looking at element 9 and on page 197 at the bottom, I highlighted it and it says, if you lose weight quickly and safely and it gives you more energy and then it gives you a catalyst to have more teachable moments where, like they say, when you're in fat burn, that's when you're learning a lot, you have a lot of energy and you want to coach it and teach it to everybody else. When you get in that fat burn, that's when you're fired up and, ready to roll, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. You're right. Because that's where we have more clarity. We're on it. We have that structure. We're not having to think about so many other things. Awesome, Dobby. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else want to come off and say anything or share?
Hey, Amy, sorry. Just real quick. I wrote down tool to establish a habit to reach a healthy weight safely. You guys, it's so true. They really are a very safe and effective and easy way to get you there. Something I have to address often with clients is, it's in a wrapper. Like it's processed. It's a processed food, it's packaged, but it's not processed, over processed. Like you're thinking packaged food. It's not like a Cliff Bar. It just is not. We don't overheat our food. So these are points of confidence that you can have in the food that you're eating, is that they aren't over processed. They don't contain artificial sweeteners, flavors, and preservatives. They have a shelf life, and we don't cook the nutrition out of them in order for them to sit on your shelf for 5 years. So you can just be confident in that. I think once you get that thought, like these are going to help me in such an amazing way and get me to where I'm wanting to go. And along with it comes all the other goodness that keeps you going, the community and the coaching. I think that you can really rest in that. And the fact that your blood sugar is going to be very stable throughout this process. And that's the piece that really drives optimal health in the future. You got to have stable blood sugar, and it affects your mood and everything else too. So I still use them. I'm in optimization. I'm drinking my second one of the day because I wanted another coffee this morning. And so I put my caramel macchiato in there, but I'll probably have 2 or 3 more today, just because this is a great way to get all the protein in without eating loads and loads of chicken.
I love that. Thank you so much, Julie, for that. And we have a couple more folks that want to share. I do want to point out to everybody here, just one of the cues that Dr. A throws at us. And I always like to remind, the Life book works with the Habits of Health book. And so you'll see a cue on page 197 for you to turn in your Habits of Health book to section 2.6. And the reason I point that out is in section 2.6, you get a little more information, not only on the fueling, but this element in element 9 in the Life book is really talking about why we're using fuelings, but also it's talking about the other habit, which is building a healthy plate, and the lean and green. And so he goes over a few different ideas for you to when to fuel, when those 6 fueling times are. So do yourself a favor this week, or if you haven't already, jump into your Habits of Health book, into section 2.6 that starts on page 270, and go a little deeper with that 5 minutes. So we're going to first jump to Adrian, and then we'll go to Kara, if you'd like to share still.
Hi guys, I'm Adrian, and Julie really said everything that I was saying, but I have my hand up, so I'm going to say it because there's a page in the book that I like to go to and read over again. It's in our Life book, and it's on page 169, and it's the second paragraph that says, we talk about how the food industry encourages you to consume large amounts, and this is in Dr. A's 1.1 of the Habits of Health. It encourages you to consume large amounts of ultra-processed food by manipulating taste, salt, and texture. That's what the food industry does. And they're responsible for creating sugar and refined flour addiction. That's what I had. I was so addicted to sugar and refined flour. The next paragraph says, it's important to note here, our fuelings are designed to do the opposite. Because they are low glycemic, portion controlled, provide balanced protein and carbohydrates, have lower calorie, and work with the body to turn off the metabolic switches, they turn us into a fat-burning, healthy state. These fuelings are healthy food designed to help you manage your weight and health. That's when I got on this program, and 2 days into it, I'm saying, I'm not hungry. I'm eating these packages of food and I'm not hungry. When Amy asked before, how often did you eat? I ate all the time. 3 huge meals, and I would snack from one meal to the next. And I couldn't believe how I could eat this and I didn't have those cravings and everything. So I just like to turn back to this page and remind me of what our fuelings do for us. And I happen to like them all. There's not one that I just really don't like, but I love the sweet potatoes and so many more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Adrian. And you're so right. I think I hear that often, and I felt the same way. Like, how come I'm not hungry? Right? It's almost like there was some pleasure in being hungry, and what else am I going to get into? But if I was really about getting healthy and losing weight, then I needed what I was getting, which was the appetite suppressant. Now, the appetite suppressant wasn't something artificial. It was my body responding to me getting nutrients. And so my brain was smart enough to shut off those hunger centers. But then I was left with like, well, what about the pleasure I get from eating food, right? And that's what I love about this program. We get to the root of the issue, which is reality. A lot of times we just like eating food. And those two things collide, right? When we're trying to get healthy and lose weight and our pleasures in life. And so it leaves you with the truth, and you get to work through your habits health system in the behavioral management portion, which is really the first probably 7 elements of the book. And that's what we've been working on for the last so many years with all of you here and with your coaches. So Kara, you want to come off mute and share?
Hi.
Hi, good
No,
morning.
I just wanted to reiterate, what Julie and Adrian said. I mean, so many people, look at our product as prepackaged, and, that is one of the hardest things, I think, to convince people sometimes that it's convenient. Yes, but it's not, it's prepackaged, but it's not processed. And so, the fuelings are such a blessing and such a tool in order to maintain. And I am also optimizing and find that it's a great way to continue that healthy lifestyle, especially for someone that's on the go and a single mom and running around all the time. But I also want to say that I kind of felt dumb, and I'm a healthcare provider, but I knew that, food affected insulin. I knew it affected cholesterol. But that's kind of where my mind process stopped with food. And so, when I was trying to help my patients, I couldn't help them. Like, I did not know the things. I did not know, all the things. And now I understand that, you can't put oil in the gas tank of your car. That's not where it goes. You got to put gas in the gas tank. And so that's kind of how I vision it. Like, our bodies need certain things to function optimally. And Dr. A and all the scientists and the nutritionists and all those people out there have created that for us in this company. And it is absolutely amazing that we are getting all of that from our food to fuel us properly so that we can optimize well forever.
I love that. Perfect. Well said. All right, Amy, back to you. We'll let you wrap us up here.
Awesome. Thank you. I loved all the shares. Thanks for jumping in because I don't always like to be the only one talking. I was going to spend a couple minutes talking about lean and greens, and I'll make it really quick so I can respect everybody's time here. But lean and greens is one of those 6 times that we're eating. So we want to make sure that we're learning how to make a proper plate with whatever plan we're on. Okay. And it's lean protein, low glycemic vegetables. During transition, we're going to add a little bit more as we go, and we're going to do it one small step at a time so that we're not taking on too much at once. And I think that's going to really help us all to having that consistent eating habit. Okay. If you have a favorite lean and green, share it in Nourished. Go to the albums, add it in there. Nourished is our group. It's for us. And we want to all be part of that and be people who are contributing and not just being consumers. Like, let's all just be a part of that and be in there and share recipes. It doesn't have to be boring, like chicken and broccoli every day. I think somebody said that earlier and it kind of made me giggle because that was in my notes. But recipes are all done for us, nutritionally calculated. If we follow them, it's going to have everything we need there. Okay. So let's kind of go with that, share some new stuff. We want to create what we're craving instead of deviating off of our plans to get that satisfaction. Is that a word? So I guess just in closing, like, how has this totally blessed you? Like, we get to have this amazing community of people. We all get together every weekend. We get to actually eat so many times a day. It's helping regulate a lot of things in our bodies, which a lot of people shared today on what those are. And there's 121 people on this call right now. Who do you know that needs this? Who in your life is struggling on a yo-yo pattern of self-directed dieting? Like, who can we help? I know that what we are all experiencing here is something we need to share with other people that we care about, right? It really helps create a healthy surrounding around us. It's fun to do it together with people that you're close to. Reach out to your coach after this. Tell them who's on your heart. And the last thing I'll just say is I would love for everybody to fill out page 201 in your life book. It's a really good reflection on this element. Fill it out, send it to your coach. It's going to help make it a reality, and it's going to have some accountability for you too in that area. And that's all I have.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody here. Everything you've been, I'm going to share my screen really quick because I want to get this up so that it'll make my job a little bit easier today when I post this here. I just needed it up for a minute. But what I wanted just to share with you is, and just in closing what Amy said, is part of this element is really just to solidify for you what the information that you've already have known, but how it's working in your life and how you can take something that's been so instrumental in you really getting your arms around your health and share it with someone else. I think that's one of the things we get to do with this program is share it. And so I'm excited for all of you to be able to share it with your friends and family. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning. We'll see you next Saturday and we'll be in element 10. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Sunday or Saturday.